Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Break It Down with Braydon. Super excited. I got the Mojo guys with me today. Josh Hintzen, Morgan Hodges. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here.
Yeah, excited.
I've known these guys for, probably 6-7 years now since you guys got involved with Agents Benefiting Children. I was actually their team captain the one year. So I've gotten to know them over the years and actually had an experience to go to the Tom Ferry convention with them. And we got to go to get dinner together and get to know each other a little bit better.
Yeah.
Tell everybody a little bit about the team, kind of how you guys started the Mojo team, and kind of what got you here to today.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess, if you want to go all the way back, which is kind of funny, Josh and I actually met in real estate school. So this is 20 years ago. We did happened to do a 2-week crash course, did not know each other beforehand, ended up kind of meeting on breaks and different things. But, a friendship was formed. And within about a year or so after that, we had decided to kind of team up and work together in the residential field. And he and I, just were a little bit blind leading the blind in the beginning. Never really had machinations of forming a team or starting a team. We were just working to make it in the real estate industry for quite some time.
Yeah. And then, year by year went by and we just kind of tripped and stumbled our way through and had a lot of successes too. And then it was probably about 10 years ago that we brought on our first team member who has been with us, ever since basically, Tony. And
cool. It was right around like 2014. We had, like I said, we'd had some real success. We'd hired an assistant a couple of years earlier, and that decision, well, not quite that, I guess it was about a year earlier. And, and that decision had really allowed us to, frankly, double our business in that year.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing so and taking all of those, items off your plate that we hear about, that allowed us to double our business. And then we thought, other agents would appreciate this sort of thing. And what they did for us, we could probably help do for other. And that's really what was the original formations of the Mojo team.
We also had a lot of leads coming in at the time. And so at that point in time, we're like, okay, well, we can't handle all these leads.
Yep.
It's silly for them just to go to waste, because we can't just keep up with everyone. So why don't we bring someone on that can help with these leads? Yeah. So organically, we just started bringing on agent by agent, and the team has grown since then.
Very cool. Who was the creative one to come up with Mojo?
Well, yeah. That's kind of a funny thing. My younger brother's name is Jordan, and kind of growing up, occasionally, but not a whole lot, but Mo and Joe or Mojo, and so when we were thinking of team names, it just kind of had popped in. And I presented it, but we liked it because obviously it's a great feeling, has a magical word. You look it up in the dictionary. There's all sorts of good things associated with the word mojo, all of which, we love and we think the team embodies, everything else. And so it's really, it's created its own life of its own. And we also like the fact that it was unique, but not directly tied to either Josh or myself. As we built it, because a lot of agents go out there and it's their last name, and and you can understand that, but at the same time, we wanted agents to kind of see and have a place too.
Yeah, I like that. Not necessarily join under somebody's name.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, we even thought, basically when we formed the team, we came together and said, okay, what team would we want to join? And what would that look like? So we kind of took it from the agent's perspective as far as team name. We wouldn't want to join the John Smith team just because we felt like maybe we wouldn't have an identity on that team. So we wanted to come up with a team name that was more encompassing of everyone than just us. Even though obviously Morgan, Josh, like Mojo, it's in there.
Yep.
But then also, like I said, splits, the type of support that we provide, the leads that we provide, the marketing. We kind of figured, okay, if we were an agent, what team would we want to join and what would that look like?
Yep.
And then we formed our team.
So you kind of brought some of those items up. So I know you guys are trying to grow the team a little bit more. Talk a little bit about why the Mojo team.
Yeah, I would say, on that,
there's a million reasons why the Mojo team.
We're
gonna try and
encompass
hit a few,
it without going too deep or too deep. But we really tried to encompass that, in the things we do. There's a lot of traditional real estate teams out there that when you join, you're really almost, you're more of an employee. You're going to have, hours and different things. And don't get me wrong, there are agents out there that definitely need that, and they need that additional, kind of push and structure because they don't have that internal motor. Like I said, we really built the team for those agents that is a bit of a self-starter, that is, looking for guidance and assistance and leads and great camaraderie and everything else, but at the same time doesn't have to have someone standing behind them cracking the whip at all times for them to do the things they need to do to be successful.
Yeah, we kind of look at it as we are the foundation. We'll provide all the leads, the support, the marketing, the accountability if that's what they're looking for, and all the tools and everything they could possibly need and want to be successful as an agent. And then they get to pick and choose what they take advantage of, and they can build their business and grow their business from that foundation.
You guys not recently, but a few months ago or a little while back, moved over to Real. What was the benefits to that? What excites you about that?
It's really exciting. No pun intended, but we had heard about Real probably over a year ago from a colleague and friend of ours, and he had mentioned it kind of in passing. Hey, I just moved over to Real. You guys should really check it out. And we kind of just dismissed it, like, oh, it's just another brokerage. Yep. And then we ran into him again, and he's like, hey guys, did you have a chance to check it out? And this was a couple months later. Yeah. We're like, no, we still haven't looked into it. He's like, hey, look, I promise you, this is not a sales pitch. Just do some research on it. And if you like it, great, call me. If you don't, no worries whatsoever. And we started really looking into it, and it just made so much sense and seemed amazing. We're like, oh my God, this seems too good to be true. These are all the things that we've been wanting in a brokerage that we have not received since, we were with our current brokerage for over 17 years. Yep. A few things to name: ownership. You can actually own stock in a publicly traded company, and we thought that was pretty amazing. And then also just additional streams of income, which we were not receiving over at our previous brokerage. So
stock's done pretty well this year.
Stock's done incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, since we've joined, it's gone from $3.50 a share up to like $5.50 a share. Yeah. So it's doing well.
The stock's done really well. An ownership, when you really think about that, that's a big key as you're building, because we're all individual business owners and whatnot. And one of the things we really realized, and I think a lot of agents will come to the realization is over time, as you're building your own business here, and you're paying the brokerage, right? You're paying the brokerage, and there's some great brokers out there. But as you're doing so, and a lot of us are really helping build that brokerage by attracting agents, building teams, even doing sales and putting signs in the ground and everything else. And you're getting that name out there day after day, hour after hour. You are promoting the broker as minimal as it is. And it's nice to have some ownership in that. And so being with a broker that, not only you have the option to buy stock, but you also earn some stock rewards and you build that over time. Josh and I were with a brokerage that was extremely small 17 years ago in Arizona, had almost no footprint. In fact, we were two of the longest running agents in Arizona for that brokerage. We stayed with them for 17 years, and it's now top 3 broker in the state. And were we directly responsible for all of that? No, of course not. But we attracted a lot of agents to that brokerage. We were a major part of it during that time. And at the end of the day, did not really have anything in show for return. So, you've got to look at what you do and then look out over time. All of us are looking for additional pieces of leverage, the chance to have some passive income and other income opportunities that are not available at the majority of brokerages out there. And I think as you look at a real estate career in that arc, what is going to work for you over the long haul? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? And, is the broker you're currently with, is that going to serve you?
Really thinking about the future there.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to a little bit, and also the present, of course. I mean, you can't ever lose sight of the now, but, there's good leverage opportunities.
And not just for ourselves, but for our team members too.
That's the big thing.
I mean, every decision, every big, major, important decision that we've made over the 10 years that we've ran a team, we've always taken that from the agent perspective. Hey, what's best for them? And by making this move, it's not just good for us. It's great for every single person on our team because now they have the ability to leverage their relationships and whatnot.
And even just to dive into that just real quick is, with us as team leaders, as we build within a traditional brokerage, yes, as you're adding team members, you are gaining some leverage off of, their production. But those individual team members really don't have any ability, short of building a team within your team. So at some point, what happens is people will leave. We've been blessed to where very few of our very few of our top agents have left. And one of the reasons is because we continue to provide additional opportunities for them to build and grow within our organization. And Real provided that awesome opportunity to where they have the ability to do everything we can do, they can do. We're in the exact same position, whether, no matter where they're at on our team, they have all the same opportunities we do, which is awesome. And that was a huge piece, again, that we just weren't getting.
Yeah, I think kind of like what you guys mentioned in the beginning, and just the fact that, you kind of built this of like, okay, what is best for us as agents? And then you kind of just fell into, oh, well, this worked for us. We should just kind of keep growing this and adding members for the team. Yeah. So just it makes sense that way.
Yeah, and the leadership over at Real is pretty amazing. We have the summit coming up here next week or the week after? 2 weeks?
Next
2
week.
weeks.
Where's that at?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. It's in Vegas.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so a few days in Vegas, and it'll be awesome. I mean, the leadership team over there is incredible. The rev share program is willable. That was something else that was really huge and important to us. Yeah. Willable, and you can actually retire, meaning that after 5 years of being in the business as a productive agent, you can actually step out of the business and get 100% of your rev share for life.
You can fully retire and never sell another home, as long as and then that's earned.
Yeah.
So that's cool. A pretty unique piece, because also as realtors, a retirement plan. I mean, many of the people in the United States deal with this. Pensions are almost a thing of the past, and you're on your own basically. But so that's a really unique and neat piece.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I think real estate agents at their traditional brokerage, the retirement plan is death. and at Real, at least there's an actual retirement plan that you can step out, hang up the keys, hang up the real estate signs, and like literally continue to collect passive income.
Well, we've talked. I mean, you guys, we got families. You want to leave a legacy, and so having something like that where you can pass down to your kids is huge. That's amazing.
It's huge, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about today's real estate market. Switch gears a little bit.
Let's do it.
I love it.
Yeah. So, how's it out there? What are you kind of experiencing? What are you seeing? What are the changes since the NAR settlement?
I feel like it's been picking up.
Yeah, I would say if anything, it's really interesting. Like it definitely feels like the interest, the transactional flow, and everything it's a pretty active market right now. It's more active, I would say, than even I thought it would be. Looking at this time frame, knowing the election's coming up and everything else. Now that being said, we're also seeing a real high watermark, or not high watermark to be determined, but more listings than we've had in a decade almost. Going back to I think 2015, but we're very close to 20,000 active listings, on the MLS right now. If even over when you add in the coming soon. So. There's a lot of listings out there, but we are seeing sales numbers pick up. Last month, we had a 8% growth in number of new homes, not new construction homes, but homes under contract. Yeah. So seeing good signs. We're very bullish on 2025, and we just think that it is going to be a banner year for all agents out there. Everybody who's nose to the grindstone has really worked through this kind of recession. I think there's a lot of opportunity in this coming market.
Is that an 8% year over year or month over month?
That was month over month. No, I think it might have been year over year. It might have been from last October or last September to this September from Comfort that jumped up as far as homes under contract. Yeah.
Love hearing that.
So good sign.
Yeah. Josh, what are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like activity's picked up, which is, like Morgan said, surprising. We weren't expecting this kind of activity right now.
Yep.
We think it's going to be pretty steady between now and the end of the year, but in 2025, we're predicting it's going to be our best year ever. And any agent that's working really hard right now, between now and the end of the year, is going to also experience an incredible 2025.
Yeah, I've heard some great people say, you really got to focus on October and that, because it really does seem to set up your next year, especially we know in real estate, the things you do now have a 3-month lag. So your activities now, if you're a new realtor, listen to this, you have to understand that your activities today have a 60 to 90 day lag period before you're going to really see any results. But it also, so if you're nose to the grindstone right now, making your calls, having your follow-ups, reaching out and touching people on a daily basis, that will pay off. You might not see it in November or December, but come January, February, March, you are going to be rolling. And so you've got to put in those daily, consistent grind activities.
It's a long game, right?
It is 100% a long game.
Yep. People always say that. They're like, well, I didn't get a deal in the first 3 months. I'm like, well, even if you got a deal in the first 2 months, then it's not going to close for 30, 60 days or whatever. So it's like you're not going to get paid for the first 120 days.
Oh, yeah. We tell everyone, save up enough money if you're going to get into the business for like at least 6 months, because it takes a lot of time and energy to get really off the ground. And it could be, like you said, 3 or 4 months before you get that first deal under contract, and then won't close for another month or two.
Yeah.
And sometimes those deals fall out. They don't ever close.
I like to use an analogy, especially with newer agents, people who are newer in the business. Hey guys, this is like a train getting started. You are getting a train started. You've got to be shoveling coal. You're going to see a lot of steam and smoke, and that train is going to maybe move a quarter of an inch, right? And you just got to keep working to get it moving. But it's so much energy's got to go into it to even get it to move those first few feet down the track.
That's a good analogy. I like that. And then once it's actually moving, it's pretty hard to
then
stop.
as you get it moving, then you can get rolling and maybe ease up. Not ease up, but kind of you're rolling a little more. Yeah.
What else are you guys excited for? What's on the horizon for the Mojo team?
Growth, I guess.
Yep.
Just we're huge into growth. We've always been our entire careers, and we always like to just see because if you're not growing, you're dying. Right? That's the saying. And so just focusing on bringing great agents onto our team. Growing our own personal businesses, growing our investments that we're doing, and continuing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think too, you've got to. I'd spend some time and really get excited about the where you are, just even in the country and the state and everything else. I mean, we are in Scottsdale, Arizona. And this is like the land of milk and honey, whatever you want to analogy you give. But you are right here, right now. It's a amazing time to be in real estate. There's so much growth and activity and vibrancy in our city, in the state. You've got job creation. I don't know if you've driven past Taiwan Semiconductor. I just drove past it over the weekend, and it's like a full-blown building there that is awesome in like a year and a half. Just coming out here today, you got cranes up and new high-rises going in. I mean, guys, if you're in real estate right now, you owe it to yourself to crush it, because as the eyes have really turned since COVID, and people, I've said it, like Arizona feels like it just got discovered in COVID, and now whether you're working internet leads or your SOI, it's just a great time to be in real estate and be part of that and part of building a culture and a community. I'm sorry if you're out of state listening to this. I'm sure there's some other great places out there, but Arizona's where it's at.
Well, and I read something that talked about just remote work too. And so like you said, with COVID, everyone was like, okay, well, I'm not have to go to the office anymore, so I could just be working remote. I don't need to be sitting here where it's doom and gloom and raining, 60% of the day or days out of the year kind of thing. I might as well go somewhere where it's sunny and I could actually enjoy myself outside and play golf and do all those things.
And the temperatures are finally dropping.
Finally.
We'll be in the 80s next week or the end of next week. So
that's been the only thing this year. It's been, a little brutal with the heat. Other than that, it's been a good year.
Yeah, the heat has been a bit tough this year, but hopefully next year will be a little not so bad.
But no hurricanes. We haven't had a hurricane this year.
Yep, no hurricanes.
And thoughts and prayers to all those people in the path of Milton, and also those in the southeast in North Carolina and Tennessee. I mean, that was brutal.
Yeah, it's kind of scary to think about all the different stuff going on in the world right now with different weather and just natural disasters and just all the political stuff. A lot of fun stuff going on right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's chaos everywhere.
Yeah. I would think, in that, it's like, that's the other thing, too, is you kind of have to, there's an old saying, make hay while the sun shines. Understand, guys, that
Morgan's got a lot of good analogy.
we could go into a higher rate environment. Different things could happen all the time, and so you just don't know what's out there. And so if you have the ability, I mean, there's still a lot of activity. There's still people moving in and people needing help. Obviously, there's a lot of listings to be sold, and yes, our listing count is climbing, but that's a great thing for buyers overall, and you've got more inventory to choose from. Finally they might get a chance to spend some time, and so I think we're going to have a nice balance this year as we're kind of coming back, where you're going to have a lot of inventory to choose from. It'd be easy to find, and listings, if you're pricing it right and effective, they're still moving in a reasonable time frame. It does kind of come down to pricing, and obviously, the better homes are moving quicker.
Yep. What have you seen from the NAR settlement? How's that changed things?
So we ask our team every time we meet, which is about every other week.
Yep.
And no one, including us, has had any issues getting the buyer broker signed, having the conversations with the buyers and explaining to them what's going on, how things are working now. And so that's been really encouraging. Like, no pushback whatsoever.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you finding most sellers are still willing to offer commission as well?
Yeah, we haven't had any issues there either.
Cool.
It seems like everyone's negotiable. Like, even if they're not actually like offering it, they're willing to negotiate it within a contract.
Yeah, and I've said it too. It is very much kind of business as usual, a new way of doing business. But at the same part, sellers are still looking, to get their home sold, and most sellers understand that looking appealing to the 60,000 agents out there who are working hard to sell their home is a good thing. And then on the buy side, people still want, a great buyer representative who is dedicated to them. And so it really comes down to you explaining your value proposition effectively and helping that buyer understand how hard and all the things you're going to do for them. And that, you are dedicated to them as much as they are committing to you. And as you're able to tell them that and explain that, the buyers are just having no issue understanding that, hey, I'm looking for good service.
I think it's also fortunate that we're in a, slight buyer's market right now, which, takes some of the pressure off the sellers as far as like them saying, oh, nope, I'm not going to offer any commission. They're kind of in a position to where as the numbers grow, as the supply grows, they kind of have to.
Your neighbor's house is for sale.
Correct.
Three houses down.
They
might wheel and deal.
They might feel a little bit more obligated to have to offer something, or maybe even offer something more than they normally would, just to try and attract that buyer to their listing.
Yeah, and it is going to be interesting to see. Obviously, this is a moving target at all times, and if the market heats back up, let's say interest rates come down a little bit, supply drops, and we return back to a seller's market, I fully expect the number of sellers at that point in time who are willing to start reducing. I still think that the vast majority will and understand that's the best path to get their home sold quickly. But you will see more and more sellers. The hotter the market gets, the more sellers are going to, reduce, just like they reduce the amount they're willing to in concessions. Are you going to paint the house? Well, it's a hot market. No. So that's kind of the thing. In a way, we're blessed to have this kind of balanced market during this transition, so that everyone can get in good practice of working with the buyers and using the buyer broker and everything else. But it could flip in just a short year's time or so.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hearing too. The same kind of feedback is sellers are pretty much willing to work with everybody right now, and it just really hasn't been an issue. And even
when it switches to a seller's market, it's going to come down to net.
Yep.
So I think we were dealing with a situation, and it was multiple offers, and the listing agent said, "Hey, look, it's about the net. So if you want commission, if you want the seller to pay the commission, that's fine. Just take that into consideration, write that into your offer, and my seller is going to be looking at the net of every single one of these offers."
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I think even when it switches,
it's all
that's
about
what's
the
gonna
numbers
happen.
at the end.
Correct.
Right? Yep. Last thing, what's your guys' why? Why do you want to grow this so big? Why do you have these big audacious goals for the Mojo team?
That's a great question. I mean, for me, it's family and legacy in that, it's really just working to provide, for my family and so that, we can get by in the world and everything else and, be prepared to weather the storm if need be.
Yep.
I think as far as growth and what's the reason and why behind that, I think we remember when we were newer agents in the business and kind of stumbling through and, having someone there to help us and mentor us would have been really nice. We had some great kind of people that were around that we would, kind of bounce ideas off of. But for us being able to give back to those agents, whether they're newer or maybe they're experienced and they're just looking to take their business to the next level and being able to help them really elevate it, that's huge. I mean, we get a lot out of that.
Yeah, and I was even going to jump in there because, like I said, we have some amazing, great agents who partner with us and are on our team, and these are killers who are super, great at what they do. And one of the things that I think keeps them on the team is all of the support we do provide, and we're in there in the trenches with them, helping them get deals done, helping them determine what the best course of attack is. I mean, you really can do a lot when you collaborate with a group and you've got someone to bounce ideas off, and that, being a solo agent out there may seem like it has its benefits and everything, but in many ways, you are on an island.
Yep.
And so we have a lot of really great experienced agents, that are on a very fair split with us, and they're crushing it and taking advantage of the leads and the support and everything we're doing, which really fuels them to do more in their business that far outweighs anything that they contribute. And so that's awesome to see, and we love that. I know Josh and I, every day we're texting and on the phone with our agents and just doing all the things, comping properties, strategizing, you name it.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys through the Agents Benefiting Children event, so I know you guys know how to give back. So it's obviously kind of part of your mantra and part of what you're doing for your team. So I love that, and thank you for everything you guys have done for Agents Benefiting Children over the years. You guys have been an amazing support for the Saguaros and our organization, so thank you for doing that. And
happy to help.
Thank you for coming on the podcast today. For everyone that wants to get a hold of you and find more about the Mojo team, how could they reach you guys?
They could email us at team@mojoscottsdale.com, or they could call or text us at 480-356-5657.
Cool. What's your website?
Mojoscottsdale.com. So Mojo Scottsdale is pretty much, that's the YouTube channel, the website, Instagram handle.
Yep.
And so if you search Mojo and Scottsdale, you should find us.
Awesome. Morgan, Josh, thanks for coming on.
All right.
Thanks for another episode of Break It Down with Braydon, and stick around. More to come. Thanks, guys.